Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Joy. I am a wife and mother of 4 kids. So I wanted to make a video about just a couple things that I don't do as a mom, and then maybe I'll make a follow-up video about some things that I do as a mom. But I was thinking about this and I was loving how unique every family is, and starting to think about what makes our family unique and what makes my journey as a mom unique from other moms. And I think overall a lot of moms do a lot of things the same, but I think it's also just fun to hear about what other people are doing for their homes, and we can kind of just learn from each other. So I compiled a very quick list of a couple things that I don't do as a mom, and then I'll kind of explain the reasoning behind it. And there's a bonus one at the end for you too. The first thing I don't do as a mom is I don't do a lot of screen time the first 2 hours of the day and the last 2 hours of the day. Those are my hard lines. The kids do still have screen time throughout the day. They still get to watch probably about 2 hours or less every day. But I'm pretty hard on not letting them watch the first couple hours of the day and the last couple hours, because I just think it messes with their sleep at the night and their rhythm for the morning. Caveat, my husband did introduce Saturday morning cartoons, which I think is really sweet for the kids, and they do look forward to it every day. So they do get to pick one movie to watch Saturday morning, and that's pretty soon after they wake up. But I do like to have them do something before they go straight into a show, and I just think it helps their moods throughout the day as they go along. I find that for my kids, when they've had an overt amount of screen time, their attitudes are not great. And when they, watch something first thing in the morning, the day's going to be a little more rough going forward. So those are my 2 hard points aside from Saturday. But aside from that, we usually, our routine is usually after homeschool, they go play and then they eat lunch, and then they usually have some screen time sometime in the afternoon. It varies a little bit, but that's usually it. So I don't do a ton of screen time first thing in the morning, last thing at night. I'm trying to at least set that boundary, right? Okay, second thing I don't do as a mom, I don't lie to my kids. I try very hard to not explicitly lie to them. If there's something that I can't answer right now, and I can't tell, I just can't tell them the truth about yet, I will either pivot and try to distract them with something else, or I'll give a very nonchalant, overarching answer that kind of appeases them for now. But I've always been this way. I don't like it when my kids will ask a question and I just say something random and it's just totally not true. I can actually look my kids in the eye and say, I've never lied to you, like I said, there is some distraction, oh wow, look at that, and that happens. Honestly, it does. But for me personally, I just don't explicitly lie to them. Now, there is the whole thing about certain holiday things we have had discussions about that are truthful. There is one that I just take myself out of the equation, and my husband deals with that so that I don't lie to them at all. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. I think I don't hear a lot of moms talk about, and I think that for me, it's just always been an important character issue that my kids can always say growing up, oh, my mom never lied to me. And we have age-appropriate discussions about certain topics that, if I can't fully explain something, we, age-appropriately, we talk about it, and that'll get more truthful as we go along and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. But let's see. Okay, another thing I don't do as a mom, I don't supervise my kids playing. I do have to come in and deal with some issues or fights that happen, yes, but I don't supervise them. I haven't ever been that mom to do that. Yeah, I kind of just leave them be. I let them have their free time. I just kind of let them figure out their own dynamic between, so we have 4 kids. My kids are 8, almost 6, almost 3, and 1-year-old. So we have a wide variety and a range of ages, but they all play really beautifully together. The older 2 are inseparable, and now my almost 3-year-old, she is finally getting old enough to actually want to start playing with the olders, which is just the best place to be. I'm like, yes. And then my 1-year-old is really great at just playing alongside them. Of course, she needs to like stop for like a snack or a nap, or sometimes she just wants mom. But overall, they actually can just play together. So I just kind of leave them be. And like I said, if I have to jump in there and handle a squabble, I will do that. But I just give them their free time. I know that they have to learn relational dynamics, and I kind of just give them the freedom to do that. We are blessed to have a separate playroom in this house. 7 months ago, we moved into this house, and before that, we just had to have the kids play in their room. So that was a whole other situation. But yeah, I don't necessarily supervise my kids' playtime, and I just let them be. Okay, I don't make a typical school structure. So we are a homeschool family. My daughter's in 3rd grade, my son is in 1st grade, and then my second daughter, 3rd child, is starting preschool. She just wants to, come alongside and stuff. So our homeschool has changed over the years from like 10, 15, 20-minute time frame to now it's like a little over an hour of focused time. Some days maybe 2 hours, but I kind of just follow what the mood of the day is. Sometimes, one or the other or both are having a very difficult time concentrating. Moods are messed up and they're just not having it. They're not having it. And instead of like forcing them, there's a balance here. I do force them to do a certain amount, but I'm also sensitive to their needs, right? So I will gauge whether like we just need to probably be done for today, and that will actually spare the peace in our home. I would rather have that. So I am a structure, routine, rhythm mom. I love that. I'm a type A personality. That helps me throughout the day, but this is an area in which I just have to kind of like hands off and say, okay, I just have to be sensitive to the time right now. I'm going to give them that grace. It's going to be okay. We will either catch up or, you know what, we're actually not behind, so we'll be fine. And I just kind of let it go, and then we move on. And other times they are super focused, and we will do like 3 times as much as we normally would, and they're fine. And again, that might take maximum 2 hours, and then we're done and they get to go play. And I don't like reintroduce school in the afternoon. That's just not our routine right now. And all of this is subject to change. Like we might end up being an afternoon homeschool routine. I don't know. But right now we get it done almost first thing in the morning. Like after breakfast, we get it done. They do their chores, they go play. And it's easy and it works for us. And I love having my kids home. I love being able to just pack them up in the car. We go somewhere. We'll go to a play date. Yeah, we're just free to do whatever. And I really love that freedom. And yeah, my kids are great learners. They're really smart, and they'll benefit from this easy flow mentality that we've kind of had. So this next one kind of goes along with that. I don't bombard my kids' days and schedules. So they're not enrolled in any extra class right now. I think right now with our family structure, that would be very, very difficult. My husband and I were talking about potentially putting our son in like t-ball, and we just really came to the conclusion like that is really difficult. My youngest is still needing 2 naps a day. That's like right at dinner time, going past bedtime. Like it was just not going to be conducive to our family structure and environment at that time. So we kind of put that on the shelf for now. But as of right now, our kids aren't enrolled in anything. They don't have any extra classes, no dance classes or gymnastics. They don't have anything like that. And I personally do love that because, as I just said, I love just being able to take the kids somewhere. Like they'll go to the store with me, or we'll go to the library, we'll go to the thrift store, we'll go see family, friends, like whatever. So they do get out, and I typically get out at least once a day. Sometimes we'll have a full day at home, but I just think it changes their mood to get out a little bit. So I don't think it's necessary to have a child in some extracurricular activity, especially when they're really young. I think their playtime is their most important aspect of developing and growing and learning, and then following that with some structured school learning situation, I think is really great. And it's working for our family. All of this is just what I'm noticing about our family. It's not necessarily gonna fit for everybody's family. That's not how it should be either. So I'm just sharing my side. I don't mess with their sleep schedule too much. If we are out at a family event and we already know going into it, like, all right, this is gonna be like an 8 p.m. thing, 9 p.m. thing, and then we still have to get home, I already have factored that in, and I'm like, okay, I know that what that's going to affect us, because the next day they're going to be overly tired and we're just going to have to change our routine. So I'm not counting those types of scenarios, because that happens sometimes and you just deal with it. But I am a mom who does like a sleep rhythm routine. So what I mean by that is my youngest typically is ready for bed by 6 p.m. And I know that sounds very early for some people and probably right on the nose for others. That is a great time for her. And then she still wakes up at a normal time. My others would typically go to bed at 7. Again, like by the time they, say their last good nights after 45 of them, it's probably 7:15, 7:20, and they would go to sleep and then still wake up at the normal time. That has worked for our family for years, and that gives me and my husband time at the night to have our time. Like I said, I'm not overly strict about it, but I have always found that kids need routine, rhythm, structure a lot more than they need just this free for all. So all that to say, that was always important to me as a mom, to give them that structure and know, like, this is our wind down time. This is our routine, and it's not going to change night to night. Okay, so what is this, the 7th thing that I don't do as a mom? I don't not get ready for the day. I think that it has always helped my mentality, probably also as a type A personality. I love being ready for the day. I can usually get ready, skincare, makeup, get dressed all in about like 25 minutes. I just think that it helps me mentally to just feel prepared for whatever we need to do, whether that is going and running some errands, or we are gonna go meet up with a friend or go see a family member, like whatever that looks like. I just like being ready. And I know that for myself, I get really stressed out when I'm not ready and we need to go. And I just feel hurried. I end up hurrying my children. That creates stress in the environment. So for me, the earlier I can get ready, the better, but it typically doesn't happen until mid-morning. But either way, I do get ready and then I feel better. I feel like I'm more put together, but I can also not rush and hurry my children when we need to leave. I just think that that causes unneeded stress in the home, and I don't want to be a part of that. So that is something that I don't do as a mom. I don't just hang around in my pajamas all day. I just don't feel good when I do that. So yeah. Okay. Okay, this is an interesting one, but I don't eat with the kids all the time. That sounds weird, but I love family dinners, and my husband usually works really late most nights. So family dinners are not super normal in our house as of yet, but I would love that going forward. I was raised in that. I think there's something so special about the whole family sitting down together as one, eating at the same time. But just where we're at in our family right now, that doesn't normally happen. And so with the kids, I give them their breakfast, and I'm doing what I need to do, taking care of this, taking care of that, giving a refill, giving whatever that is. Same with lunch, do the same thing. First of all, I'm not hungry usually at the same time for breakfast. My son needs breakfast like right when he wakes up. Like if it's 6:30 and he's up, he wants breakfast. I'm like, I'm not ready for that, But I will say I do typically hang around with them. They usually sit at the bar stools at the counter, and I'm in the kitchen. So we are still together. I'm just not always eating alongside them, if that makes sense. So same for breakfast, same for lunch. They are typically at the counter, and I'm in the kitchen. We're all together, but we're just not eating at the same time. And hopefully one day we'll be able to just have family dinners every night, and I just think that would be ultra beautiful. But we'll see when that happens. But yeah, I don't always do that as a mom. I don't always sit down with my kids. I wish I would. I probably should, but it's just not the season that we're in right now. So, all right, so I think for my last couple, one thing that I don't do as a mom is leave the house a disaster at the end of the day. I love to close down the house. I love to wake up with a clean slate every day. I think that is super important. So we do not leave toys on the floor, clothes on the floor, stuff on the counter. Their room is not a disaster when they're going to bed. I just think that helps everybody mentally. I know it helps me. And I think that my kids deserve to go to sleep in a clean environment. I do get them involved in this. So As I mentioned, they do have a separate playroom. This is the one area that I am not always super strict because, again, I'm going to protect my peace over the structure. But typically I would have them clean up their playroom as we're winding down, getting ready for bed. But if that doesn't happen, at least the living room is picked up, their room is picked up, the bathroom is cleaned, and the counters are cleaned off. I just find that to be extremely important. They do not go to bed in a messy environment. It helps them to just wind down, their minds are cleared, and they get to wake up to a clean slate. And that in itself is important because it says that the Lord's mercies are new every day. I just think that we should have a new day every day. Does that make sense? So like we don't carry what we had yesterday into today. So I just think that that's like an important thing to teach them going forward. So yeah, I do my own little reset routine at the end of the night, and I start a load of laundry, and I do start the dishwasher and wipe off the counters, wipe off the chairs, fluff the pillows, that kind of thing. Because I know it makes a difference to me. If I wake up and I have a sink load of dishes, I will probably be crying by 7 a.m. That's just the truth. So I would want to teach my kids the same thing and give my whole family this blessing of clean slate, new day, everybody's starting from scratch, and we're doing super great. And we have such a hope-filled day versus waking up and being like, yep, we still have to clean up from yesterday. So I do think that that is important for our family. And yeah, there's very few times that doesn't happen. So I'm glad to say that. Okay, last thing I'll say on my list is I don't let them have just every toy. And I see this in two realms. First of all, we're very intentional about the types of toys we do allow into our house. So certain styles of toys, certain characters aren't allowed in our house. Overly stimulating toys we don't do. Yeah, there's just some things that are either offensive to our beliefs that I'm like, why would we ever put that in our home? But then also, like, that is just too loud. Like, we don't need that in our home. So that's one side of it where we are intentional about what comes in, but also I do kind of a rotation for the toys. So in our playroom, I do kind of choose what toys they're going to have out for that week, for that couple weeks. There's typically, we call it a big toy, and it's like either magnet tiles, building blocks, Legos, food set, something like that, where there's a lot of pieces. And then from that, then we have like their dolls or their little action figurines, and then some like play silks and dress ups and a couple other things. But I don't do like magnet tiles plus building blocks plus something else. That's just, there's too many pieces. And so for me to ask them to go clean up their playroom, they're going to be entirely overwhelmed, and it's not going to happen. So I am intentional about what I do bring into their playroom, and I switch it out so they don't get super bored. If I find that they're just like dumping something and then they just leave it in that pile and they don't touch it all day, I'm like, okay, let's switch that one out, go play with something else. So I do a toy rotation for their playroom. I do keep it pretty minimal. I find that helps everybody's sanity, not just the kids, but my own. And as the mom, I am the manager of the house. So everything that is in my house is in my brain. And I just don't think that it's fair for me to carry all of the inventory of children's toys and have my children carry that burden of caring for that many toys. I think that it is super important to teach them responsibility and caring for their items, but I want it to be manageable for their age group. I just think that that's fair, and it's fair for both parties. So while we do have plenty of toys, believe me, and my husband is always super generous with the kids. He has the most generous heart ever, and so it's constantly like, let's make sure we're in our boundary. But the kids never have a lack of toys, ever. And we have very generous family members and friends, and yeah, the kids are totally fine. And I'm just trying to balance that thing for me as a mom, being the manager, to say I need to manage the inventory of our home, but also I need to teach my kids responsibility, and it needs to be attainable for my kids. And I just think that that's fair. But yeah, that's something that we have in our home as kind of our situation with the toys. As a bonus, I figured I would put in something that I am trying not to do. And this one is I'm trying not to make our routine override our needs. Because of my personality, it is very easy for me to say routine, routine, routine. Everything has to stay according to our structure, and instead stay sensitive to, okay, this needs to shift because so-and-so needs something. This needs to go away for today because this is more important. This is something that I am always working on. I just think that both is very important. Routine and structure is very important, but also rhythm and flexibility is very important too. So I am trying not to do that one. As I said, I am constantly trying to do better at that. I am learning, I am growing. It is a dying to myself all the time, because that's just my natural personality, is to stay on this more strict schedule, but that's not always great for my family. So in the effort to serve my family better, that is something that I am currently working on. So that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. This really is just, I guess, just a peek into my life as a mom. Again, mom of 4, and they're just constantly growing and developing and learning, and we're all just learning and shifting, and things will change as they go. But as of right now, these are some things that I don't do. But yeah, I would love to do another video of some things that I do as a mom. I think that would be really fun, and just kind of, again, give you kind of a glimpse into our home and my life as a mom. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you guys come back for more and we can continue this conversation together. We're all just growing together, learning from each other, and I think that's the coolest thing about having this type of platform is so many people can connect from all over the place, and I think that would be really cool to see how that all could come together and how we can all just learn from each other. Because yeah, we're all just growing, and time will change things, and something that I'm not doing now, I might do later. Something I'm doing now, I might not do later, and that's just how it works. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. I pray that you are blessed by this, that you enjoyed this, and yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys later. Bye guys.